Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Gina, and in today's video, we're gonna be entirely in this grow tent today. So I thought it might be fun for us to just kind of hang out in there. I'll show you what's currently in the process of growing. So if you don't know, I do have a store, a plant shop. It's an online plant shop where I sell propagations from many of the plants that you see right here on this channel every week. I grow them in this grow tent. Well, I have two tents. This is one of my tents. This is the Hoya tent, and this is the tent this is gonna be a Hoya hangout in the grow tent. So we're just gonna be in this tent. We're gonna ignore the fact that there is a whole other tent over there, but anyway, we're gonna do a bunch of stuff in there today, and I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be educational for you guys, especially if you are thinking about putting up a grow tent, having your very own grow tent. So yeah, so let me show you, first of all, I'm gonna show you like the mechanics of this tent. So I'm gonna pan you over this direction right here. So right here. These are my humidity and temperature controls, and ignore my mess. These are my shelves that hold all of my pots, my planters, my soils, everything. And it needs some organization. And we're in my basement and it's very dark, so you know, it's not the prettiest place, but anyway. So here, this controller right here is the humidity controller. This is the temperature control. Okay, so these are the current conditions in the grow tent. Ooh, it's doing kind of a weird little flashy thing, isn't it? Interesting. That only shows up like that on the camera. Okay, so as I said, this one here, the blue one is humidity control. So I have that, the tent is set up to be the lowest humidity that will be in the tent should be 65%. So as the top number, 84.4, that is the current humidity in the tent. And it is morning, it's like 10:30 in the morning here. So the humidity is pretty high because the temperature in the basement is on the lower side, and we'll get more into that later, but that is the reason for why the humidity is currently so high, 84.4%. Okay, so on the right, that is the temperature control. So the bottom number, 80.0 degrees Fahrenheit, is what it is set at. It should not go higher than 80 degrees. It's currently 79.7 degrees Fahrenheit. If it reaches, I believe there's like a 2-degree, I forget what they call that, but if it gets to like 82 degrees in the tent, then the exhaust fan will kick on in there and it will lower the temperature. Like say, okay, so it's at 82 degrees, the fan kicks on, it exhausts the hot air out of there until it reaches like 79 point something, and then that fan will shut off. And it's just like, it's a controller, it's like a cycling like that. Very handy to have, love these. They're Inkbird controllers, a must-have. In my opinion, if you're going to have a grow tent. So you need to control that humidity and you need to control the temperatures, because both, well, more so the temperatures can get pretty out of control with all the grow lights in the tent and being in an enclosed space like that. So, and you might have heard Nora. She is here. She might pop in. Okay, so let's head into the tent. All right, so here we are, we're in the tent, and I believe the tent is like an 8-foot by 8-foot size tent. It's not the biggest tent. I think, well, they may even go bigger. I know there's like a 10-foot by 10-foot, but this is the 8 by 8. It like fits perfectly in the spot it is in. It is plenty of space, although I kind of wish I didn't have these hanging plants right here to give me more room, but I need that space because, as you can see, the tent is really, really full. Okay, so now going back to the workings of the tent. So I mentioned there's an exhaust fan in this tent so that if the temperature, I have the door wide open, so the temperature is absolutely going to drop in this tent. But not only the temperature is going to drop, but also the humidity is going to drop. So you remember that humidity controller, and I mentioned temperature in the room outside of the tent can affect things. So the humidity was like 84.4%, I think, when we looked at it. And it's the morning, and it's okay. So the exhaust fan, because it is not so hot in the tent right now, the exhaust fan is not working. When that exhaust fan kicks on, it pulls out the hot air, but it also pulls out the humid air, and the humidity drops. So the reason, and Nikki is here now. he's down there now. He's going away. So no one's come in the tent with me yet, but they hear me and they have to check things out. So basically, the temperature control and the humidity control, they kind of work off of each other. So when it gets too warm in the tent, the exhaust fan kicks on. It pulls out the hot air. It also pulls out the humid air, and then the humidity on that temperature, or on the humidity gauge, is dropping, and it's going to kick on my humidifier, which is right down here. Right. See if I can easily show you. Right there. That blue container right there. That is my humidifier. And it probably will be turning on fairly soon because the door is wide open. And let me just peek and see. Okay, so it's down to 69% humidity in here right now. And so yeah, we still have some time before that's going to kick on. So right over here, let me show you the exhaust fan. So here is the duct work for the exhaust fan. So the actual exhaust fan is on top of the tent. And then out here, I'm not going to take you to the top of the tent, but I'm going to show you how we have this set up. So this is a window here. Derek set up this bottom exhaust thing comes from this tent, and it exhausts outside of the basement, because I did have it exhausting into the basement, and it was just too it just got too humid in the basement, and that did not work. It was not good. So you'll see there are two pieces, like two ductwork pieces. The top one is for the other grow tent. The bottom one is for this grow tent. All right, so here's me way down here. What we're looking at here, I'm trying to show you the lighting that I have in this grow tent. So for the most part, I have a lot of these, they're shop lights basically. They're just really inexpensive. Daylight temperature, I forget, I'll put on the screen what the temperature is of the lighting. It's like 10K, I think, but it's just LED lighting, and it does a fantastic job of growing these plants. You wouldn't think so. You would think you need to use actual grow tent light or grow lights, like plant grow lights, but you really don't. I mean, personally, if I wasn't having to, it would be extremely expensive to outfit this tent with like real grow lights, like lights marketed for plants. It would be very expensive. So this is a cheaper alternative for a big space, lighting up a lot of space. It's a cheaper alternative that really does work. So, but personally, if I was, if I was rich, I would have like the real deal, but these work. So don't be afraid to try out using just like shop lights from like Lowe's or whatever. And you can see I have them here also. These are all shop light lights. Now back here, these are really old lights on here. These are actually lights that are marketed for as grow lights. I forget which model they are. They might be Barina. I'm not sure. They don't say, but you can tell the difference, like the color temperature. This is more of a yellow, kind of a yellow light, whereas the others are more of a white light. And what else? As far as like mechanics. Oh, I do also have, like right up here, this black thing right here. This is actually, it's a filter, and it's just to filter out smells, because grow tents, if you've never been in one, they can, they can have like a kind of musty, earthy smell to them because of all, I guess depending on your medium you use. Like I use soil, so there's a lot of earthy smells in here. And this is like a charcoal filter. It sucks in air through here, gets sucked in, and then it comes out here, out of the filter. And it does work. It does make a difference. And you have to change those out like every few months, like maybe I forget how many months. Like I think I go like 6 months maybe. And then, but you know what? This is a Hoya tent. This is a Hoya tent. Lots of Hoyas. Oops. And when you have lots of Hoyas, you have lots of flowers. And the flowers smell amazing. And yeah, the tent mostly smells like flowers all the time. For the most part, it really does. Like this one, this doesn't put off much of a scent, but some of these other ones, like these do. So, and I'm going to show you, like what is flowering. I'll show you, like I said, what is growing currently, like things that are going to be showing up in my tent or in my plant shop eventually. I'll show you plants. We just recently did a whole Hoya plant tour in the grow tent, and you guys liked it. It has pretty good views, and you guys seem to enjoy it. So I figured you might not mind coming back in here again so soon. So, but I'm not going to show you every single plant in this tent. No. We're not going to look at every single plant, but I'll show you just like what I said, things that are flowering and what's growing, and some things that I want to propagate for the shop. Maybe we'll do some of that. And yeah, that's the plan. But I think for now, I think that is pretty much all the workings of the tent. I mean, I do have some fans running. Here's a fan right here running. There's one running up here above you. That's why it's so noisy. There's another one over here, this white one here, running just to get some air circulation, because that is important. You need air circulation in your grow tent. I noticed interesting in the winter time is when it is the most humid in the tent, because temperature outside the tent is pretty low, which means the temperature in the tent stays on the lower end. Even with all the grow lights, it still stays on the lower end, and the exhaust fan does not kick on as much to suck out all the moisture, all the heat. So it stays way more wet in the wintertime than it does in the summertime, which is kind of good and bad. It's good because I don't have to constantly be filling my humidifier. I don't have to take that upstairs, fill it up all the time. But then it's bad because it's just so wet in here, like the floors doesn't dry out, and it's just, yeah, I try to keep my floors pretty clean in here. Yeah, I don't like it messy, which is not easy with Hoyas, because currently we've got lots of flowers, like dead flower petals on the ground. I need to clean those up. I have a towel. It's dedicated for this tent. What I do is I just come in and I'll just wipe up, because it can, you get the condensation on the walls and it drips down and then it pools down on the floor. So I just take this dedicated towel and I wipe it down, and then yeah, that's what I have to do in the winter. In the summer, never have to do that. I just sweep in here, and sometimes I like mop in here just to get some of the dirt up. And yeah, it's a fun place. It's work. It's a lot of work, but it is definitely a fun place. So, all right, so what should we do now? Should we look at, let me just show you like some of the stuff that's growing. Some up and coming plants that will be in the shop soon. It's a little bit claustrophobic right here. Okay, oh, besides, I don't just have Hoyas in the grow tent, I also have Discidias in here, and I also have some peperomia and some lipstick plants. So for those of you who are like into the lipstick plants, let me just show you. I do have quite a few, and they have just like started. This is the Thai pink lipstick plants. They have really just started taking off. I don't know what. It's just like they're kind of slow. They're slow to start. And I didn't write down when I actually propagated these guys, but it's been a few months and they just kind of didn't do much. And now suddenly they're just like exploding with their growth. So you can even see, so the darker leaves there on the right here by my thumb, the darker leaves on the soil are the original leaves. And then it just popped out that new growth point there. These guys, you know, they're a little bit faster with their growth, but that's really exciting. So there will be some Thai pink lipstick plants, and I just saw something. I just saw something so exciting, which I did not notice until just now. Holy moly, you guys, look at this. It's flowering. It's gonna have flowers already. So you know what? When I do put these in the shop, I will do it when it is actually in flower. That's exciting. I have never made a propagation of the Thai pink lipstick plant that actually has flowered like already. So that will turn pink. It's a gorgeous. I'll put a picture up of what it looks like. So that's so exciting. Wow. I love that. So I do have a bunch of more Chinghungensis plants, Hoyas. There'll be quite a few of those in my shop updates. Some Anglerianas, plenty of more of the Angleriana growing. And sometimes, like in this instance, this was a propagation I made here. This is Hoya Angleriana. You can see the size difference between this one and this one. So this one has been around in the tent much longer, and sometimes when they end up getting this big like this, I will hold on to the plant and I will start propagating from it instead of like I got something poking me here. What is this? Hoya Rebecca is poking me in the face. Yeah, it's a jungle in here, no doubt about it. But so sometimes when they get like this big like this, I will go ahead. Sometimes I'll sell them. I'll put them in the shop, but sometimes I'll start propagating from them. My new thing now, and I'll probably go ahead and sell this one as is, but what I've been doing is I've been adding trellises to these just to help keep them more under control. So I'll just add a trellis to this. So for instance, to give you an idea of what the trellises look like, and you saw this in a recent plant shop update, these are the trellises. They're just these really nice plastic, green plastic, and you can make them taller. There's like, see those little lips there on the sides? You can like attach another one of these to it to extend it, to make it taller. And they're on Amazon. I'll link stuff in the description for you guys, so in case you are interested in them. But yeah. So I'm going to probably add one of those to this. I'll add one to this and sell it. A nice big plant. I do enjoy selling bigger plants to you guys, so you really feel like you're getting your money's worth. Yeah. But I can't, not all of them are always going to be this big, because that means I have to hang on to them for a while, and it's more about getting them, making them, having them grow and getting them out to you guys. And then you can have the fun of growing them to bigger plants. I'm all about starting as small as possible, and I will show you, as small as possible, just a cutting and growing them out, like rooting them myself, growing them out into big plants. It's just, I find that to be the most fun. It's just very rewarding. It's a very rewarding way for me to just really enjoy the hobby, like really, just really enjoy the hobby. That's all, yeah, it's the best way to explain that. So I don't know if you guys remember, we propagated these together. This is the Hoya walliniana, or Hoya wyetii variegated. Growing nicely. I don't know if maybe you remember, we did propagate this together, and you can see the new growth points on here, a couple new growth points on these. So these will be ready soon. So pretty. This is the mother plant right here, right up there. Mama plant right there. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous Hoya. Love this Hoya. So we have those. Oops, just, you know how Hoyas are with their vines. Yeah, the vines get everywhere, and it's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse. There's like, see this big vine here? It's like clear across to the side of the tent back there, and it's like wound itself around a cord back here, like that cord. Can you see the Hoya vine wrapped around it? Well, that is from this plant right here. So yeah, it is quickly getting out of control in here. But all you have to do is chop, just cut, chop, and yeah, propagate and have fun with it. I enjoy it very much. All right, so what else is, oh, let me show you some of I've made some purchases. So I said I like to start small. So when I purchase Hoyas, a lot of times I will just get like a 1-node 2-leaf cutting unrooted, and then I root it myself. And you guys recently saw, I recently did a unboxing video of some plants, some new Hoyas that I've gotten. So here, for example, this is Hoya lacunosa leopard skin that I got. You can see it's still alive. I'm looking, I see a tiny little, it does have a tiny little growth point popping up. Slow grower, very slow grower, but this one does, it is growing. This one, I think you guys saw this one. This is the Hoya Matilde variegated. Well, you can see that's the new growth point right there. It's rooted, roots. That's a nice thing too about clear pots. You can see where they are rooted. What else? Oh, this is the Hoya lacunosa variegated. Has this put out new? I don't think this has put out any new growth, but I do see some rooting. So it's just, I guess it's just a slower one. Kind of like that other lacunosa. I guess maybe lacunosas might be kind of slow growers. Yeah, they are, because from my experience, when I am propagating them, they do take their time. But then once they start growing, it's like really fast. They like really grow fast. Oh, this is an exciting one. I love this one. So this is Hoya manipurensis. Do you remember when I got that? I showed you. Well, this is, you can see the whole new growth point here, right here. And it looks like there's actually 2 growth points coming out from the top of that where it was cut. Isn't that so cute? I love that. Love that shape of that leaf. So that's exciting. It's doing well. One that I do not recommend getting as just a cutting, because I don't think it's done. It's grown roots, but like no growth points on this thing. There's like, this is Hoya denisii Frida. I don't recommend getting it as an unrooted cutting at all. You can see there's roots. It has rooted, but it's just no growth point yet. So I don't know what's up with that, but nothing yet. Still waiting on that. What else here? So this is kind of a tragedy, yet not total tragedy. So this here, this was also, though this was a rooted plant, but it was just a really small plant. So this is Hoya ETS 10 silver. Well, every single leaf ended up dying. So I don't know if it was cold damage. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but every leaf is gone. But there is like the teeny tiniest little growth point. I think it's either, and it is getting bigger, so I'm leaning towards it being a growth point rather than just a algae growing, because it's green. Could just be algae growing on it. But I don't know. I'm holding out hope that this isn't like a total loss. So I will let you know how that goes, because that is not a cheap plant. I think I paid $60 for that little plant, and you see what it looks like now. So yeah. Okay, so let me show you. I think I've showed you this before. So this here is my Hoya Argentea Princess. So this is another one that was purchased just as a cutting, unrooted. It was two leaves. So this is the original leaf. This is the original leaf. So then it popped out this solid green leaf. Boo. This solid green leaf. Boo. But then I have hope. It's not a total loss, because then it gave me this variegated leaf, and then I see another leaf down in there that also looks like it's going to be like this. So yeah, it's kind of risky. That's another thing. It's kind of risky buying cuttings, and which is why I don't do it. I don't sell cuttings, because on plants that are variegated like this, you don't know that you're actually, they are notorious. They are notorious for reverting. So this is a reverted leaf. Now, thankfully, it gave me the proper leaf. And like I said, I think there is another one in there, but it's a risk. It's a risk you take on buying cuttings from plants that are variegated, because that variegation can revert. So yeah, so I'm hopeful that the next one that comes out will also be looking proper like this. But now let me show you, and I told you guys about this. I have some Hoya AH074, which is over in this corner. I have a few of these. Sorry you can't see them, but okay, so it started out, AH074 started out, these are the variegated leaves there. Those are the original leaves, the two leaves that I propagated from. And you can see what has come out since then. It's not much silver on those leaves, as they're supposed to be. So if I had sent this out to someone, just these two leaves, fresh cut, I would feel really bad. However, I do have hope with these, because this is another one. This one was just one leaf, I think, when I propagated it. Yeah, it was just this one leaf, one silver leaf. Then it popped out this leaf. But can you see this next leaf here that came out? There's lots of silver on this one. So even though this leaf here was solid and this leaf here is solid, the next two that came out, Yeah, it looks like even that tiny little one there also has some silver on it, like this one. So I am hopeful that this one can still push out some silver leaves, but we'll see. But again, like I said, you know, when you buy variegated plants with like unrooted cuttings, and you don't know yet what that growth is going to look like, you are taking a chance because it may not turn out the way you want it to turn out. But so the AH074s that I just showed you, those will be in the shop soon. Eventually, you will see them. What else is exciting? Let's see. I do have more Discidias. The Discidia tonsuensis, they're in the process of growing out. Like this will be the next one I'll be listing in my shop here, but then we have more waiting in the wings here that will be eventually. I try to keep like certain plants, certain plants, stop it. This is really pretty. Oh, let me finish my thought. Certain plants, I try to always have them available in the shop because I just love them, like that Discidia tonsuensis. I just love it, so I always want to have it available. This has taken off. So this is Hoya, one of my very favorites, and it's silver, and I love those silver Hoyas, but this is Hoya coriaceae silver. This was an import plant. It's got new leaves. Unfortunately, somehow I tore this leaf. Probably it got hooked onto me, and yeah. This one likes to get hooked onto me a lot, but it's so pretty. So I have this one of this, and this is the same thing here, another one here. Love this plant. And I think, yeah, and I have another one down here. And these are entirely silver. Like, okay, so here is the original leaves here, but these are almost entirely silver. Just little specklings of green on them, but this is very interesting, quite interesting. So I have 3 separate plants of this one, but I don't know, I might sell this one. Maybe sell this one. I don't know. I kind of am hoarding the Coriaceae silver because I just love it so much. Yeah, that's a fun one. Love that plant. It's in my top 5 favorite Hoyas currently. Okay. Oh, let me show you. This is a new one. You haven't seen it yet. I just got this one. This is the Hoya meredithii. I got this one during a very cold snap, this winter, but it did put out this new leaf here since then, and I'm so excited about this one. I absolutely love the looks of this plant, so very excited to have this one. I currently just have it sitting on the floor. I'm not sure. I would like to get it on this, so I have this trellis here filled with all these big leaf Hoyas. I would love to be able to put it on there, but I don't think there's room. I don't think there's any room for it there, so I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I could squeeze it in. Maybe I can remove something else and squeeze it in there. So, let's see. What else can I show you? Let's go over here. Okay, so we're going to look at some stuff over here behind me, but before we do that, we were just looking at the Coriaceae silver. It just dawned on me why the one is so much more silver. This one, why there's so much more silver on this plant than the other ones, and it's because it is so close to the grow light. And I will include a picture so you can see just how close it is to the grow light. So the more light you give that plant, the more silver it's going to give you on those leaves, which is really, really exciting. Okay, so now we were talking about reverting plants that you propagate that are typically, they are variegated plants, but then you chop them and you grow them out and they don't turn out the way they are supposed to. This is another example right here. So this is the Hoya walliniana. So the original, the mother, is right here. See this, what this leaf looks like? That is what this is supposed to look like. And it does not look like that. You see that? So this one just didn't, it reverted. These can revert. It's another variegated one that can revert. Unfortunately, it does happen. And yeah, it's just one of the risks. All right, so I want to show you some really nice plants that are going to be coming up in the shop soon. So here, this is Hoya pandurata. So this is one of those that it got really big. Like it just really took off. This is a really fast grower for me. It just really took off, and so it was like out of control, and I was for a long time considering just propagating from it instead of selling it, because selling it, like packaging big plants is not easy. It's not at all. It's not fun and it's not easy, but I decided I'm going to sell these. I put them on the trellises. Look at these cute little clips you get with it. But I'm going to sell them. I'm going to sell them big like this. And I have like 3 of them. Another one here. And a 3rd one here. So if you've been wanting to get a pandurata and you wanted a big one, well, I will have some big ones coming up, as you can see. And they're really cute with those trellises, I think. Yeah, I think so. I have a bunch of these beautiful Hoya Kentiana Laurie Lynn's that I will be having. I just recently sold one in the last shop update. Well, I have a bunch of these, so if you've been wanting one of those, you will be finding those in the tent, or, well, you'll find them in the tent, but you'll also be finding them in the plant shop. So also, I keep getting questions about the Hoya linearis, and I keep getting questions about if I'm going to have Hoya linearis in my shop again, and I will. I definitely will be having them in the shop again. Here they are. So I have discovered that Hoya linearis has a hard time with shipping, like with the cold and with the delays that the USPS has been having and the cold. It's just, there was one that was lost in shipping. So it was kind of special circumstances, but I still think even though it was lost with the huge delay, I still think it's just a more fragile Hoya. So I want to wait for the temperatures to get warmer, and also for this just to grow even bigger and a more extensive root system. And so it's going to be a little bit before you're going to find Hoyas in my shop again, but they will be there. But yeah, it's going to be a while. I'll probably not till later in the spring that I'll be listing them, but I don't know, we'll see. So I want to show you my Hoya polyneuras. So I have both. I have the variegated polyneura, and then I have the silver. And this was a propagation I made, but I've decided to hang on to this one for myself. Just cause I hoard. But the mother plant is down here. So the mother plant is actually much smaller than see right here. It's much smaller than this one. So that's kind of why I want to hang on. I just want to hang on to this one just in case something happens to this one. I have a backup. I do notice it's putting out a brand new growth point there, which is exciting. That's good, that's good, that's good. It's always nice to see more growth points popping up on your plants. But so I have this one, and then I have the silver, which is way down there. I'm not going to show you on the wall there, but this is another propagation that I have kept for myself. But good news, if you've been wanting one of the silver, I'm going to have those before too long, because I just made propagations of that one not too long ago. It grows pretty quick, and here's one that will eventually be in the shop soon. This one will be in the shop soon, and I have like I made 4 propagations of that one. Unfortunately, I don't have any of this one. So maybe I will be cutting this one soon, maybe even in this video. I did want to do a little bit of propagating with you guys in this video, just to show you. It was like between, well, I didn't even think about doing this one, but one of the possibilities for propagating, and I'll show you. I have to move you if I can. Right here, you see this? This is the Hoya macrophylla red, which sunstress is a beautiful red color. If it gets enough bright light, it will give you red leaves. And I was thinking of possibly cutting this one because I have so much of it, but I don't know. Now I'm kind of thinking I don't want to do it, because I see some tiny little leaves that are popping out, and if I chop it, I lose those leaves. However, it will grow. I mean, it will grow again. So I don't know, but maybe we'll do some propagating together. But first, you know what? I want to show you some of the flowers that are going on in the tent right now. So I'm going to take you off the tripod and show you some of the flowers. Okay, so right here, is it going to focus? There we go. So we have that one that still needs to open. It's not blooming yet. It was just giving me a bunch of flowers from right here, right there. That peduncle, actually I think there's like 2 peduncles there. It gave me some flowers, and then there's another one. This is also part of that vine here. And I'm not absolutely positive of which Hoya is responsible for that. Let's focus. I think it might be from this guy, Hoya tangamus, this one. Pretty sure it's the flower from that one, but I'm not positive. So we have those, and then let's see, I did see, looks like though it just might have stopped blooming. That's Hoya hushkiliana yellow. That one blooms a lot. Let's see, we have Hoya discipulae, which this is another one I was thinking of maybe propagating in this video. I have been putting it off because I love it so much, but these might be nice sized leaves right here to start to propagate. Instead of like these giant leaves here, it take from some of these smaller leaves here. I don't know. I don't want to get your hopes up because I've had a lot of requests for this one, and I've just been hesitant to chop it. However, I do have this whole new growth point here with lots more flowers. I could wait for this one to get bigger and chop from this one, but I really probably should take from up here because it is getting, pretty soon it's going to hit the ceiling. I don't know. So over here, here's more flowers. Look how pretty. This is Hoya multiflora, the most gorgeous flower, I think. Sorry, I'm shaky. It's just so pretty. So beautiful. Shooting stars. Hoya multiflora. That one is blooming. And then up here, I think this is, what is this one? I have to follow the vine to figure it out. I don't know. I don't know which. I'll have to follow the vine and maybe put it up on the screen to let you know which Hoya that is from. But that one is blooming, and I don't think anything else over here is blooming. I don't think. Oh, I think I did see, no, it was just new leaves. I thought the patella pink, but it's just giving me some new leaves. It wasn't flowers. It does flower a lot, but it's not currently flowering. Or maybe I did see some way back in the corner. You see, right there. See that? That's going to be a Hoya patella pink flower. Okay, so coming back this way, let's move this out of the way. Here we have a ton of Hoya sunrise flowers. It's going to smell so good when those open. This is Hoya Rebecca flowers. Also, not quite ready yet, but will be amazing when they are blooming. And I had this little Discidia over here that was blooming, and actually, oh yeah, there is still like one little bloom. See that little white bloom? It's so tiny, but they actually smell really good. Oh, here's more here. Discidias also bloom, which is nice. I think that's it. I think that's it for blooming, currently blooming in here, I think. All right, so I was asked recently if I could like show the grid systems, like how I have these grid systems set up. So this is all, see these, it's metal grids, and I purchased them off of Amazon. So they're actually for pictures, like for photos that you can hang photos on the wall. And I have so many of these here. So there's like one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, there's 10. There's 10 altogether, and they're just connected. They're connected with zip ties. So they're just hung with zip ties, and they work great. However, 10 of these, I think they come in sets of 2, and they're not cheap. They are not cheap. There are cheaper ways you can do this, which I'm going to show you, which would be right here. So this is just from Lowe's. It's just a trellis. It's like a plasticky trellis. It's not wood, it's plastic. Came white from the store, and we cut this in. It was a big, like very big piece. We cut it into 2, so I put one here, and I have one in the other tent, and it's like so much cheaper than the photo grids. But I like that with sorry if it was too fast. I like how the grid system is so much, like it's thinner, so it's easier for the vines to wrap around it. So if you don't have to buy a lot of them, if you just need a couple of them, they work great. But if you need a big number, I highly recommend just picking up one of these at Lowe's. The vines, as you can see, they'll still wrap around. They totally still wrap around. But yeah, that's how that's set up. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good look at the tent, I think. So now I want to do some propagating. So we talked about things we could propagate. So some of the ideas, we have the Hoya discipulae. You guys probably want me to chop that one up. That's a possibility. We had the Hoya macrophylla red. I've got a lot of that one. That would be a good one to chop up with you guys. Or the easy choice for me would be right back here. See this? Right back here. So this here is a Hoya Hanier pink. And it is, wow, it is like really wrapped around. Where is it? Okay, I can easily chop that. So I'm kind of leaning towards that because this is, I'm going to cut it because it needs to be cut anyway to separate it from the other pieces, the other vines here. So what we have here is Hoya Hanier pink. Did I say that? It's Hoya Hanier pink. This was a propagation I made that kind of just grew out of control. I do want to make more of this one because it is such a pretty one. So I think this is what, it even has a little bit of sun stressing. See a little bit of red on there because it was closer to the light up there. Yeah, this is a good one to propagate right here. So this is what we're going to do. So let me set things up and we'll chop this one up together and make some new plants out of it. All right, so we are going to do our propagating right in here, but I told you guys about my puddles. I've got some puddles here of water that I want to clean up. This is my towel, my dedicated towel for this. So I'm just going to just kind of soak up that water first. So I'm not sitting in water. And then maybe we'll do a little bit of sweeping in here. Kind of sweep it up also. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bunch of those I think it's tangamus, the flowers from the Hoya tangamus. You might be able to see them on the ground here, maybe. But we shall sweep those up. Okay, so out of this plant, we can make five new plants out of this one plant here. So I'll probably chop it all the way back down to this node right here, and then something new will pop out after I remove that. So let me, first off, I'm just gonna cut that off right above those two leaves. So see those two leaves, you see that beautiful milky sap there. So this is what we're working with. So I'm going to chop right above these leaves here, right there. So there's one here, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm actually going to make these are awful long stems. We don't need that much stem. I'm going to just shorten that. Look, a perfect little cutting. Some people sell them. So this is a plant that you could I would be comfortable selling a cutting of this because there's no variegation on this plant. So there's no chance that there's going to be any sort of reverting on this plant. So something like that I would totally, I'm going to shorten that one. I would totally sell cuttings of something like that. I just wouldn't feel comfortable like selling cuttings of variegated plants, not knowing if they're actually going to produce more variegated leaves for you. So yeah, so we have 5 of these guys. Four and 5. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let them sit here, right here. I'm going to let them sit here and kind of callus over a little bit. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. Just It's just, I guess, depends on my mood. I was going to take a little break here and just let them kind of harden off. Got my cups here, so I'm going to take a little break. You guys wouldn't know if I didn't tell you, but I'm going to take a little break, get something to eat, and then I'm going to come back and pot those up with you guys. So yeah, snap of the fingers. All right, so it's about half an hour later, and these are all nicely dried out. No more stickiness to them, so I'm gonna start potting them up. So I already put my little name tags on here, so I know, because I mean, for the most part you can tell by looking at leaves what things are, but not always. So just to make it easier on myself, so I don't forget what is in there, I put the name of the plants on the pot. So this is my chunky aroid mix here, just filled with Fox Farm Ocean Forest soil, and then I mix in some orchid bark and some pumice, and then there's some really big chunks of perlite, which is kind of fun. I like the chunkier the better, is what I always say. So I'm just going to fill my pots. So we have five cuttings that I made. So I have 5 pots. Each pot will be filled with 1 of the cuttings. That's typically how I do it on larger leafed plants like this. Now on some of the smaller leaf plants, like, well, obviously like Hoya linearis here behind me, that gets multiple cuttings in it to really fill out the pot. What else? Like even like Hoya Rebecca here, I will get a couple of cuttings in there, but since the Hoya Hanier Pink has such pretty large leaves, I don't do that with that one. I just do 1 cutting per pot. Okay, so we have our 5. Let me put them all up here, because you can see them there. And 5 pots. So now one thing I'm going to do, which you don't have to do this, but I typically do just because I have it on hand, so I use it just in case it might help. I use a rooting hormone. I dip the stem into the rooting hormone just to give it a little more extra encouragement for rooting, so the roots will come out anywhere along the stem. Hoyas are kind of special that way, that like a lot of plants, you're only going to get roots coming out at the nodes, but on Hoyas, your roots can come out anywhere along the stem. And you can see that on, well, right here is a perfect example. First, I'll show you that, but first I'm going to just pot this just stick it right into the dirt, hitting a little resistance. There. I try to get it so the node is like right at the soil level. So that one is done. So as I was saying, how the roots can come out anywhere along the stem on Hoyas. So this is a perfect example of what I mean. So as you can see, actually that's not a good example. I take that back. I'm looking for, let me look here. Okay, this is better. This is a better example right here. So this here, come on down, come on down. This is the Hoya Thomsonii splash. So you see all along the stem, there are like little bumps. That's where roots come out of. Hopefully that is showing up. You see the little bumps all along the stem? Those are little aerial roots that are popping out. So it's not just, you don't just get root growth out of nodes, but they can pop out anywhere along the stem, and I hope that is showing up for you to see. You can, surely you can see those bumps. So yeah, I love Hoyas for that. Well, that's one of many reasons why I love Hoyas, but that's another reason why I love Hoyas, that they're just so easy to propagate in that way. They're pretty awesome. And then I'll just take these when I'm all done. This will take no time at all. And let me put up a picture of what the flowers look like on these. So pretty. There's two versions of the Hoya Hanie. There's the Hoya Hanie yellow and the Hoya Hanie pink. And both are gorgeous. Yeah, they're stunning. All right, that's it. That's pretty fast. And we have potentially 5 new Hoyas here, just from propagating that one propagation. So that one, the mother plant that we cut from, that was just a propagation just like this. It started out just like this, and it turned into its own mother plant. And I'm gonna grab, if I have one over here, I need a pin. So this one, the leaves are kind of keeping it from setting flush on the soil. So I just take one of these pins and I just push it down, and the pin, actually it does it better when the soil is wet. It'll hold it better, but the pin will keep it pushed down to the soil. And I mean, the roots are going to grow regardless. I don't like when propagations, like receiving propagations, where they're like sticking up, where you have like all that stem sticking up out of the soil. I don't like that. I like to get it down as close to the soil as I can, just a personal preference, how I like them, how I like to make them, how I like to make my propagations. So that is going to be it for that. I just have to go water them, and then I'll set them up on the shelf. Here's the original here. I'll set them all back up there on the shelf under the grow lights, and with the humidity in the grow tent and it's very important to keep that soil wet, moist. Don't let it dry out so that those roots can form. And yeah. All right, well, that is gonna do it, I guess, it's gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed like seeing the workings and everything. Like, if you have any questions, feel free to put them down in the comments, and hopefully I can answer those questions for you. Any questions at all about the grow tent. Before this video ends, I'm gonna take you on a little walkabout. Just not me, but I'll be behind the camera and I'll just show you everything. I will just give you another little overview of the whole tent. And yeah, but I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for being here, joining me here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.